Hi, and I'm back with David and Haneen. For the people who don't know you, I think you're a regular guest, but for the people who don't know you, can you both introduce yourselves?
Hello, good to be here. My name is Haneen and I am from Gaza City, Palestine. Thank you for having me on the show. I am a teacher trainer, and I am also a PhD researcher doing work around playback theatre, identity and cultural understanding in the UK at the moment. Over to you, David.
I'm David Heathfield, and the person I've learned most from over the last couple of years is Haneen Khaled Jadallah, my colleague.
Now, you're both here because you're going to be talking about storytelling. Storytelling is very important. We all know storytelling. It's mentioned in our course books, but you're the experts. And you do a lot with storytelling. Can I ask you about the projects that you currently have going on with storytelling?
I have been involved with storytelling and drama and theatre for 8-9 years now, started in Gaza, and I was inspired by lots of initiatives, projects and people who inspired me. One of them is David Heathfield, when I did the CREST course, and I learned a lot about activities related to implementing storytelling in the classroom. So one of the projects that I did with the British Council Palestine, and came across in a very hard time for us people in Gaza, teachers and children, as Voices Across Worlds, and it was supported by the British Council Palestine and implemented in Gaza, in Cameroon, in Malaysia, in Greece, and for children who managed to get out of Gaza to Egypt. So we created a network for the children to come together, to tell personal narratives, to share these stories among this network of schools and educators, and to perform back each other's plays on Zoom.
Okay, so you had kids from all over the world tell stories to each other?
Yeah, personal narratives. So, for example, we had a team from Palestine in Gaza, and I'm going to give a big shout out to my colleague Lucie, who managed to do that at the most difficult circumstances. So we had the team from Gaza and we had a team in Cameroon. So the Palestinian children performed a personal narrative coming from Cameroon, describing a struggle, and the Cameroonian children performed back a personal narrative coming from the Palestinian children. And the stories really varied. So we had stories talking about the struggles, the life situations, but we also had stories talking about dreams, talking about social media effect. And you will be astonished to know that the girl from Gaza shared a story which talked about phone addiction and how she wanted to get rid of that and help future generations to be more in communication and cooperation with each other. So the project was more than about language development and communication. It was also about raising confidence. It was also about how these young people are prepared, empowered to take this world in a much better place in the future, because we're doing that as educators, as storytellers, as teachers, because we wanted to care about the future generations, because today we are responsible for their future, for caring about them, for connecting them, but tomorrow they'll be the ones who are leading us and caring for that for us. Thank you very much.
But that sounds lovely. So just to get this straight, you had people of kids from different countries tell stories, personal stories, dreams, surroundings, anything, and then they told it to someone from another country, different context, and they were going to enact the story
back to each other.
So it's focusing on telling stories, listening, reenacting, empathy.
Yeah, and also it's celebrating identity. It's fostering cultural understanding. It's raising awareness about young people's struggles, no matter where they come from. And it's teaching them about each other's contexts in a very artistic way, because we know that sometimes when the truth is cloaked by a story or a play, people love watching it and listening to it.
True.
The project produced 10 plays, which are all available online. The teachers from Cameroon, Nani and Ernestine, the teachers from Palestine, Lamia, Rashida, Lausanne and Diyar, and the teacher from Greece, Evi Karidi, they all got together, and Dayang from Malaysia, and they talked about their methodological presentations of doing this project online. And the project will come out of a publication very soon, and it will be free accessible to anyone around the world. It will contain a resource of stories for the teachers to implement such methodologies like intercultural playback theatre online or even in a classroom. So it will be a collection of stories, and it will contain scripts and notes on how to do that in the classroom.
I love that. Where can we find it and when?
Well, the British Council Palestine will promote it, and I am going as a representative of Ga2a to send a copy to IATEFL. But we are very honored that David Heathfield wrote the foreword for this publication. So David was involved in the project as my advisor as well. So I was telling him about the project. I was taking his advice on certain bits, but he wrote the foreword in the end, and he reflected on our involvement as colleagues and what does it mean to him and the children to do storytelling with kids from Palestine and to connect them with their peers around the world.
That must have been a lovely project to contribute to. And can I just say, so know that this is coming up, even if we don't have a specific date yet. If you're looking for a book with stories from kids from Cameroon, Palestine, Greece and Malaysia, turned into scripts, like ready-use materials to use in all our classes all over the world, keep an eye out on the British Council Palestine, and they will tell us where and when we can download this for free.
Yeah, and Professor Steve Mann from the University of Warwick was an academic advisor, so he fed in insights on the project, and he will help in promoting it in the end. So thank you, Steve, for being with us.
And then, David, aside from doing the forward, you're always very, very busy, doing lots of projects, lots of storytelling. Is there anything you want to talk about that before I start begging you to tell me a story? Because, of course, when you're here, I kind of want to hear a story.
Okay. Well, what I'm going to talk about is deeply connected to what Haneen's just been talking about. The teachers that are involved in her project are mostly teachers that I've got to know very well. You mentioned Lucie, Ga2a and Lamia. Hello to all of you. And well, there's lots of teachers from Palestine, mostly from Gaza, who I've got to know really well over the last few years. I started something on a free platform called the World Storytelling Cafe, called Young International Storytellers. So young people from Gaza and all around the world came online and told stories.
Yeah.
And now what we're doing together, Haneen and I, is a joint project, and it's totally voluntary and spontaneous, is getting people all around the world to listen back to those stories that were told, learn those stories and retell them in the children's names. And believe it or not, quite a lot of new stories have come to us, you know, in the last year and a half, in spite of really, really difficult circumstances. Children want their stories to be heard. And I've got a photograph of some of the children telling stories from Gaza online and on Zoom during pandemic times and up to 2023. And here I've got a photograph of two sisters, Shatha and Hala, who are still in Gaza and who have managed to share stories from inside Gaza. It's getting more difficult, and I often communicate with them. But I want to tell a story that I learned, one of the many stories that Hala told. And she's 18 now. She's desperate to continue her studies and become a doctor, and she's working really hard. It's amazing, isn't it? How kids inside Gaza, in spite of everything, are still working and studying with, you know, putting everything into their future. It's quite remarkable. So I'd love to tell a story that I learned from Hala, if that's okay.
Please do.
Anchor, yeah, I think I'll put this.
Can I?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's not put down the world because it's very fragile and needs to be looked after.
The world does need to be looked after,
yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so here's a story that I learned from Hala Muntasalem. It's a Palestinian folktale that she learned in her family. Kanya Makan, dim as a man. This is for all of you, and especially you Palestinian teachers. Kanya McCann fit Adim Mazaman. There was once a milk seller, and he wasn't wealthy, but he made enough. He would take half a bucket of milk every day from his home to the market, and on the way he passed by the river. But he noticed in the market that some of the other traders had more than he did. Some of the other traders had a donkey, or some of them had a cart, or as Hala said, some of them had a donkey and a cart, and he was jealous. And he thought, I wish I had more. And as he was thinking this one day, as he was walking to the market, as he walked by that river, he thought, if I filled my bucket so that it wasn't just half full of milk, but completely full of milk, even though the milk would be diluted, then I might make more money. So he dipped his bucket in the river so it was full to the brim, and he carried the bucket full of diluted milk to the market, and there he sold it. And none of his customers noticed that this milk was less creamy than it normally was. And he, by the end of the day, he had sold it all and he had lots of money. So he started walking home with the empty bucket, and after all the busy day, he got to the river and it was hot, and he thought he would rest under a tree. And as he rested under the tree, he counted up all the coins he had made that day. And believe it or not, would you believe it, Anka and Haneen, how many coins? He had twice as many coins as ever before. He had made double the money, and he was really pleased with himself. I can continue in this enterprise. And he fell asleep in the hot sun, well, in the shade of the tree. But when he woke up, he found that his purse with all of the coins in was gone. Noise up in the tree, and up in the branches of a tree there was a monkey, and the monkey was holding the purse and laughing, and he said, give me my purse back, give me my purse back. And the monkey, laughing, picked a coin out of the purse and threw it down so it hit the milk seller on his head and then landed on the ground. Give me my purse back, give me my purse back. And then the monkey took another coin and threw it so it landed in the river. Give me back my purse. And then the next coin fell on his head. The next coin in the river, the next coin on his head, and the next coin in the river. And so it went on until every coin had been thrown from the purse, and then the monkey lost interest and dropped the empty purse. Well, the milk seller gathered up all the coins that were around him, counted them, and you know what? There were exactly the same number of coins as he had ever earned before in a day selling milk. And he suddenly thought, this is a sign. This is a sign. That monkey, somehow, that monkey has passed on a sign from above. I shouldn't be so greedy. I should accept what I have. And I should be honest and not treat my customers unfairly. Milk is for milk and water is for water. This is what he said. Well, he told his story and how he learned his ways, and he returned and his customers trusted him because his milk was rich and creamy and he lived well. But this saying, Hala told me, has become a saying in Gaza and in Palestine that people say as a reminder to be honest, milk is for milk and water is for water. So thank you, Hala Muntasalem, for that gorgeous Palestinian story. And if you want to listen to this story, go to my YouTube channel and find the playlist, Tell a Child in Gaza's Tale. And so far, this is a completely voluntary project with hundreds of people all around the world, children and adults, retelling stories. You can be part of it. And Haneen and I are exploring ways at the moment of how this project might be developed into educational resources. We're exploring sources of funding, but it's going to happen and it's going to be amazing. So thank you all for your stories.
Thank you both for your stories. And I love a good story. I love learning a new expression. I'm going to remember that. Milk is for milk, water is for water. And thank you both so much.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Thank you for agreeing to interview us. It's a great pleasure to be here.